Hey, what's up? It's David Duford at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents become top producers. And the subject matter for today's YouTube video is to teach agents how to develop a business plan to help them get up and running in the insurance business. So this video is really for newer agents or experienced agents. And the reason we put this together is because a lot of agents need to have focus. I think one of the biggest factors for failure in this business is confusion. It's dissolution or dissolving of focus, being attracted to a lot of different shiny objects in this business, and never being really effective because there's a lack of focus and concentration. There's a lot of different ways you can be successful in selling insurance, no matter if you sell to business owners, Medicare supplements, final expense, mortgage protection, annuities. It all works. What you have to do is figure out what it is you want to accomplish and put a plan together and stick to it. So what this video is going to do is detail 5 different steps you can take, 6 different steps actually, reviewing my notes here, that will help you put together a simple yet effective plan to guide you in the direction that ultimately you want to go. So let's start with the first one. The first one is state an income goal. So this can be anything. It's got to be challenging yet achievable. If you're brand new to this business, hey, be happy if you make $50,000 to $75,000 in your first year, okay? Maybe $75,000 to $100,000 in the first year. Again, you got to understand you're getting started in a business that you probably don't have any familiarity with, and most good things in life take time to develop anyway. They don't happen all of a sudden, and if they do, it's probably a lot of time behind that person that you don't ever really see. You see people who seem like overnight successes, but they put in a decade's worth of experience before they actually experience this like avalanche of income. So come up with an income goal that's exciting, it's challenging, it's motivating, but is within the realm of achievable. Now, what you'll have to do, and this is for another video, you have to also work back what and how you actually achieve that income goal. So what I mean by that is that if your goal is, let's say, $100,000 in the first year, well, you got to know your product commission levels and what's expected, as well as the components that maybe reduce that, like chargebacks and lapses, that kind of thing. And then you want to work that down to a weekly goal. I think it's a lot easier to operate in this business when you chunk down big goals into smaller ones. So like $100,000 in final expense is probably going to be around $12,000 in production a month, or otherwise around $3,000 to $3,500 in production. Well, that's just 5 or 6 cases a week on a 25 lead order. And you should, at good commission levels, be able to hit that number, pretty close to it at least, if you're doing 25 leads a week and converting approximately 20% to 25%. So you'll want to work that down, because now you know you basically need to hit about 1 policy a day in the field if you're working 5 days a week, or approximately 2 a day if you're working 3 days in the field. So now you've got definable, achievable goals, and 1 policy to 2 policies a day is a lot easier to formulate and understand than it is to say, wow, 100 grand sounds hard if you've never hit it before. How do I do it? Well, 1 policy to 2 policies a day. So that's the first goal, is to hit your income goal. Second of all, you have got to figure out what kind of market that you want to target. Now, here's the thing. I just got off the phone with an agent who I've worked with for a year. She's very good in final expense, and she wants to go into Medicare. And she's just going through AHIP certifications with carriers, and she's going to start AEP, which is annual enrollment period for Medicare Advantage, in October. And it's September now, filming this. She got a couple more weeks. She called me. She's like, how do I stay balanced? I'm super overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. So the reality is that it's one thing as an experienced agent to do this. You kind of know how final expense is. She knows her market. She gets the whole process. But the other problem that you're going to face as you get into this business, especially if you're new, if you don't define the market that entices you the most, that you have the most connection with, that you think would be the most fun, you're going to be pulled in different directions, because there's all sorts of marketers in this business who will tell you, look, that thing you're doing over there, it's bad. You need to do this. This is where all the money's at. This is the secret that nobody knows about that you can tap in before everybody else gets into. You're going to get marketers that are going to tell you. You're going to get YouTube videos that tell you this stuff. And the truth is that may be true, but every market has a lucrative opportunity in it if the friggin' agent will just focus on that one thing. So that's kind of the thing I'm trying to tell you here right in this video, is find a market you're attracted to and be completely and 100% committed to it. Now, when I say market, what I mean by that in a sense is the product you're using, right? So final expense market, or the Medicare supplement market, or annuities, whatever, it doesn't matter. Find it, focus on it, and completely put blinders on and do nothing else but that product, at least for 6 months, if not 12 months. Give yourself the opportunity to learn this business because there's a lot that you have to learn that you just don't recognize yet as a new person. Experienced, if you're experienced, look, you can add multiple products on. I believe that's fine. It's going to be still overwhelming, but a little bit easier. But again, make sure you take one product on at a time in the process of learning. Don't take 5 different products on. You'll just 5 different products, 5 different markets, 20 different carriers. It just adds up in its complexity. And people who are confused don't do anything and aren't effective. Okay, point number 3 is lead strategy. Okay, so you need to figure out what your goal is as far as generating leads. So when it comes to leads, always start with the best. I just did another video where I talked about lead strategy, how to implement quality lead programs, and kind of dealing when you struggle with bad leads. Look, don't come into this business, have the highest hopes, and use the cheapest leads. All right, many times price equates to quality. Okay, that's how life is anyway. You pay for something cheaper, you're probably going to get a cheaper result in quality. The short end of this story is just get direct mail leads. Okay, you got to get into direct mail. In the vast majority of the insurance markets that are out there, it tends to be a high quality approach. Not always as far as being the best, but in many of the markets I teach, like annuity sales, final expense, Medicare supplements, as well as mortgage protection, primarily direct mail driven. So just start with what works the best. Don't start cheap and work up. You'll find it never works out that way. Number 4 is funding. Okay, so yeah, you've got an idea of what kind of leads you want to do direct mail. Well, now you got to figure out how much money am I willing to risk on myself in this business. And when you do the best, you're going to pay a higher price. So most cases, you're looking at several $1,000s investment minimum. Sometimes maybe $3,000 up to $5,000. Don't get too scared. This can be scalable. It just depends on the level of volume and leads that you get, and it depends on the market that you're working. So it just there's a lot of variables there. I won't get into this, but you need to kind of have that number in mind for a full-time effort at minimum to get started. Part-time can cut that number in half. Again, if you have questions, I recruit agents in all these markets. I can clarify the requirements a little bit more for you on some in a message if you want to contact me. Number 5, work schedule. So again, now let's determine what it's going to take to work the kind of goals that you've set. So if your goal is to write 3,000 a week and you've got 3 days in the field and you can conceivably see how you can get 5 sales and hit that $3,000 a week amount, well, if it takes 10 appointments to make 5 sales or 12 appointments to make 5 sales and you set half of your appointments from your leads, you need 25 leads. So to work 12 appointments a week, you're going to do 4 a day. So you probably need a full day each day, at least getting started, especially if you're just door knocking and you're not cold calling or setting appointments. So the strategy here, guys, is just you have to set yourself up with thinking this through in advance. So when you know what your work schedule is, you know that you got to go out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you must hit 4 appointments before the end of the day. If you don't put your daily quota in, you won't hit your weekly quota. And by having a daily quota, you give yourself a sense of urgency. I liken it to, I think it's called the Parkinson's Law. I was reading this in the 4-Hour Work Week, great book, by the way, where if you have a limited time to actually accomplish something, there's a lot more urgency and focus. Whereas if you got 3 months and it's a task that doesn't take 3 months, but it takes a week, you tend to put this stuff off, the general speaking is, and you don't do as well. So with this approach, if you make yourself have a daily goal or daily quota your mind will focus much more on accomplishing that task. And you'll find that, again, hitting daily quotas means you hit weekly quotas, which means you hit annual, monthly, and quarterly quotas. So if you look at your business like this, then you put it into action, and it gets us to step 6, which is execute. You don't need to make this business plan any more complicated than this. It could be on literally one piece of paper. You stick it right up in front of you, in front of your computer. You review it every single day to remind yourself of what you want out of life and what you want to focus on and why you're doing this business to begin with, and to keep the most important things first things first. And you don't need a 10-page business strategy, session to put this all together. It's unnecessary. You just need to know what your goals are, what you want to accomplish, what market you want to focus on, concentrate on leads, how much investment you can make in yourself, and then have a daily strategy in executing those goals. And that's really what you only need in this business and selling insurance, especially getting started, and even if you're experienced, because you need to have focus. And that's what a business plan does. It's one page, is it focuses on what's most important and gets your mindset in the right direction that you need it to actually get results out of this business. My name is David Duford. Perhaps you've seen my books behind me. I'd encourage you to buy them if you haven't already. You can go to my website. It's davidduford.com. Look for the best-selling books link at the top and check them out. They're both in ebook and paperback format. You can buy from Amazon or directly from me on ebook. If you're interested in selling insurance and you're kind of curious as to what kind of markets there are and you want to see what the opportunities are, you can go to my website, click on the learn more about David's recruiting program so you can see the different programs I offer agents like yourself. Also, I do an Inner Circle program, which is a weekly coaching program training with all sorts of sales and marketing systems for insurance agents to jump on for a low weekly, or I should say monthly price. And yeah, if you got any questions, leave a comment below, like this video, and also subscribe. And as always, I love my audience. I don't say that enough. Thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.